folks, let's welcome the players for our first semifinal. From Canada, Bianca Andreescu. And from Ukraine, Elina Svitolina.
Well, what a week and a half it has been at the BNP Paribas Open. So many twists and turns and so many fantastic stories and quite unbelievable tennis. And in our first semi-final, we have two players who have already had a special journey to this point. But what will win the day? Will it be the experienced campaigner Elina Svitolina, the world number 6, who is going in search of a 16th WTA final, or the young rock star of tennis, Bianca Andreescu, the youngest woman to reach the last 4 in Indian Wells in a decade? Should be absolutely fascinating. Naomi Cavaday alongside myself, Pete Rogers, for this one. I suppose you're looking forward to it.
Oh, it's going to be fun, isn't it? Both of the matches we have coming up, I think, will be just thoroughly entertaining. And this one is going to be a huge test for Andreescu to see where she's really at. Of course, Svitolina's so experienced, so consistent. She will absolutely need to be at her best if she's going to score a huge win.
What are you expecting from Andreescu? Because every time she's been on the big stage, it hasn't flustered her, but it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Yeah,
precisely, and the sort of opponent like Svitolina down the other end is pretty much as big as it comes. So I think she's going to be fearless. She's going to go out there, she's going to play incredibly well. Her game matches up quite nicely against Svitolina, but it is going to be hard work. Svitolina has been putting the miles in this week.
She's spent 2 hours more on the tennis court than the Canadian.
Okay, ladies, any
one
questions?
match less.
Anything? No? Heads or tails? Heads. Okay, have a good one.
So Svitolina winning the toss and electing to receive first. Of course, she's the experienced campaigner with regards to this matchup. Been in this situation a number of times before with regards to top-tier level tournaments. Although, never been to the semi-final here at the BNP Paribas Open. And of course, neither has Bianca Andreescu. This is the first semi-final of today. This is the draw. This is how they've got through. When we talk about expectation, of course, Andreescu, the expectation couldn't be any higher after that unbelievable performance against Garbine Muguruza, dropping just the 1 game to the 2-time Grand Slam winner. And Svitolina had to battle past Vondrousova, didn't she? Came from a set down. That was a tough battle for the Ukrainian. She's had to fight hard to get to this point in the tournament. Also had that match that lasted over 3 hours against Ash Barty. Of course, later on today, Belinda Bencic against Angelique Kerber. That one is not before 9 p.m. As you can see, blue skies once again in the Californian desert. There is a little bit of a breeze, but as ever, it's pretty idyllic. Wonderful playing conditions in what they so often refer to as tennis paradise. And what an extraordinary rise it has been for Andreescu. Finished last year ranked 178 in the world and is now at a career high ranking of 60. She's won 26 of 29 matches. Okay, some of those have been in the 125k event in Newport Beach and in qualifying matches, but she has just made winning a habit. And she's also yet to be beaten in straight sets this year. She's beaten some big names: Wozniacki, Venus, Muguruza, Sibylkova as well here, as well as Wong. I mean, it's been relentless. Is it going to stop?
Today or to this evening?
Or whenever. Do you now see her being a fixture inside the world's top 10 because she's playing top 10 level tennis?
Yeah, I think definitely she's on her way. For sure, top 20, I see her getting there pretty soon. She's been playing comfortably at a top 20 level. Not entirely sure about the top 10. I mean, look, she beat Caroline Wozniacki, who is in the top 10 out in Auckland at the beginning of the year, but Wozniacki was off to a bit of a cold start at the beginning of the year, and she's had some health issues since then, although that is still an absolutely huge win. But this really is the only other match that she has played of that level against Svitolina. So this will be such a huge test to see where her game measures up. But top 20 is coming, and it's not far off.
As for Elina Svitolina, well, it's been a long, long time since she wasn't a top 20 player. Improved her year-end ranking 9 years in a row. finished last year ranked 4th in the world, and of course much of that was down to the fact that she went and won the WTA finals in Singapore, although that is now being moved to Shenzhen, and she's had a pretty impressive start to 2019. When you consider that, what she achieved at the back end of last year, again, talking about expectations, a little bit more of a spotlight on the Ukrainian, and due to that, been a pretty steady start. Quarter-final Australian Open, semi-final Doha, semi-final Dubai, and now another semi-final appearance here.
Yeah, and the pressure is building, actually, and I think the expectation, that's for sure. I mean, we've seen her game just edge more and more towards being slightly more aggressive. She's never going to be an aggressive player, but just bringing in that aggressive element, and she's really focusing on being aggressive with the movement and bringing herself up the court, and that's what's been doing it. But now that we can see her finishing off points much better than she used to, now we can start to think about her winning these huge titles a little more often, and then the potential of pushing further in a slam than she ever has before.
And I wonder how players must feel. I mean, I referenced this with Garbine Muguruza in the quarter-final for Andreescu, as in, you know, my opening line was, it's the experienced pro, Elina Svitolina, 24 years of age, as in, but she is now that player.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, she's been in the top 10 for some time now, very comfortable. I mean, it's hard to really see without injury why she would ever drop out of the top 10. She is probably the most consistent performer, I think probably up there with Halep, in terms of week in, week out. It's just been a little more difficult for her at the Grand Slams, and a lot of that is just because she can't quite finish off the points with as much authority as I think she would like, but she's still working on that. I mean, she really is, and she just looks like she's enjoying her tennis. She enjoys the fight, and she loves nothing more than scrapping around at the back of the court and making your life incredibly frustrating.
Mariana Alves in the chair. We talked about the ranking that she finished last year. She will likely rise to 4 in the world, Svitolina. If she wins this match, will go above Halep. But of course, if Kerber went on to win the tournament, then Kerber would overtake Svitolina. She'd be back down to number 4. But could go to levelling her career high as world number 3. In terms of the weather forecast, mostly sunny, 22 degrees Celsius. It has been warmer today, but that temperature will probably drop pretty quickly. It is 6:30 p.m. or around there anyway, local time. Weather brought to you by Dubai Duty Free. First of the semi-finals at the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells. And it should be an absolute cracker. Elina Svitolina looking to try and reach what would be WTA final number 16 for her. This in her first semi-final in the Californian desert. Will the experience tell, or will it be the youth and exuberance of Bianca Andreescu playing in her first Premier level, certainly Premier mandatory level semi-final? How will the Canadian fare? It will be the 18-year-old to get this match underway. Naomi Cavaday, myself, Peter Hodges, to talk you through. And you said during the warm-up, Naomi, that Andreescu's game style matches up well to Svitolina. Why?
Because she's not afraid, and I'm going to use her words here, so there's not a criticism at all, but throw some junk in, play the high ball, and we talked about how Svitolina maybe struggles to generate her own pace and finish off points.
Is that the most impressive thing with Andreescu's game, is in how she's able to mix things up, slice 1 second, slow ball it, and then go big? Yeah,
I mean, it shows a lot of thought and consideration, and it shows a really good command and control of her own game, which is incredibly mature for her age. And I think that Svitolina really likes to have something on the ball to use and to throw back at you. She likes to go and meet the pace and then see what she can do with it. And when it's not there, sometimes she can overplay a little bit, especially when she's kind of desperate to get on top of the point.
Andreescu's made winning a habit this year. There's 26 match wins out of 29. There's some of those in qualifying and in the 125K event she played in Newport Beach. This is her fourth semi-final of the year already. Runner-up in Auckland as a qualifier. Won Newport Beach, that 125K event. Semi-finalist as well in Acapulco, so she's only lost one semi-final. It was to Kenny. Third semi-final of the year for Svitolina. And it's a nice early break for the world number 6. No reaction from the Ukrainian.
First game.
There's a long way left to go, but perhaps a slightly nervous start from the Canadian. And Svitolina takes full advantage.
And as much as I think elements of the Andreescu game match up well against Svitolina, I mean, this is an almighty ask. As I mentioned, I know she has that win against Wozniacki, but she has achieved incredible things this year. I mean, she's coming from absolutely nowhere to do what she's done, as you say, reach those semi-finals. But it has not been against the caliber of somebody like Svitolina, and she will find herself up against a wall out here.
Creativity from Andreescu. I mean, you mentioned Svitolina there being a wall. We know how good she is on the defense. Is that going to simply be the game plan today against Andreescu, just to sort of say, okay, you're 18, come on, beat me?
I think there will be a big part of that for sure, particularly early on, because it is part of the Svitolina game, is forcing players to beat her. And do you know what? Sometimes when they play their best tennis, there is nothing that she can do about it, and she does get knocked off the court. I think particularly on the big points, we might see Svitolina just sit back and say, go on then, you take it. But in general, I think she will be trying to wrest a little bit of control away. She has been trying to be quite aggressive through this tournament, and I don't think she fancies just sitting back and letting Andreescu just pull her all over the court.
I said to you during a win over Andreescu, just wondered whether this tournament had a Svitolina win laced all over it with regards to the tough matches she's come through. It tends to happen often with Svitolina when she goes on to win a tournament. She seems to slowly play better and better.
15.
Always gets that sort of playing with the house's money type of feeling, of course. Had that feeling against Barty in what was an incredible match. I mean, how tough is it to get that sort of attitude? Svitolina seems someone who can win matches at the highest level when not playing her best tennis as well. I mean, Andreescu, I think, was a case in point.
Yeah, well, for her, her range of her level of tennis out on display is so small. I mean, her worst tennis is pretty good that we see. I mean, I cannot remember a bad match from Svitolina in so long, not since she's really been in the top 10, or if there was, maybe there was another reason for it. But then at the other end, her best tennis isn't necessarily completely devastating to other players. She's still reliant on other players not necessarily playing their best. So she can have great confidence because she walks out on court and she pretty much knows what she's going to be able to produce. It's going to be pretty good. And that's how she's become one of the most consistent players through the year, probably the most consistent.
Counter-punching from Svitolina. She backs up the break.
Svitolina.
So on that, here's the big question for you. Crystal ball out.
Svitolina leads.
Do you see her becoming a Grand Slam champion? Because that top tier in terms of performance and level, you often need that to get over the line in a slam.
Yes, and I think that is a huge challenge for her. Did you see Coach Andrew Bettles on the left there?
Boyfriend as well, Gael Monfils.
Monfils in the house.
So I'm not going to allow you to dodge that question.
I'm going to just playing the numbers. I think that she will win a slam. I think there will be an opportunity to break through. Now, I know that for somebody like Wozniacki, you could maybe compare her to in terms of. I mean, Svitolina is going to be at the very top of the game for the foreseeable future. For me, I just think that surely there will be a breakthrough in a slam. I mean, maybe it's not completely in her control, and it will take a couple of players getting knocked out here or there, somebody being tired, and who knows. But I think I'd be more surprised if she finishes her career without a slam than I would if she did.
That's quite well negotiated.
Slightly off the fence, leaning one way.
Andreescu. Little things going right now for Svitolina. That one landing on the baseline. I feel the young Canadian hasn't really settled in to this matchup as of yet. It's been down to the smart tennis from Svitolina. It's an area of her game that she's improved so much over the years, Elina Svitolina. Lovely little way to finish that point. Team don't look too happy, but they should be, because she breaks again for a 3-love lead.
Time.
It's been a bit of a shaky start from Andreescu. Talking about Svitolina just being the brick wall and yet to make an unforced error. That one was obviously borderline, whereas Andreescu in the first 3 games, 1 winner, 9 unforced errors. often call Svitolina a stat killer due to her ability on the defence. That's more like it. I was just about to ask you, Naomi, how worried you were with this start, but just think it's a case of Andreescu settling into it.
Yeah, it's a lot of nerves. I mean, you could just see it really written all over her face. She's been so comfortable with all of these firsts that she's achieved. I mean, maybe just catching up with her slightly. Putting a bit more oomph behind the ball, just a bit more intensity in the feet, more racket head speed, just really getting herself going.
Just to get one of the two breaks straight back.
$15.40.
Big hitting from Andreescu. And there's the fiery side of her character that we have yet to see in this encounter. The Canadian flags are flying on the board with a break of serve.
Well, the high ball, deep ball in the middle of the court really did the damage, got her the short ball. And when you combine it with the pace, as we've seen throughout this tournament, it can be such a difficult game style to play. You just don't know what's coming next. I like the use, the variation, the high deep ball, that backhand slice there. I know she just missed it, but going down the middle of the court, I think that's really sensible. If she puts in a floating high ball or a floating slice slightly out of the middle, then Svitolina's got angles, and she will use anything you give her.
Made that tough. Svitolina,
15.
But like Ukrainians happy to come forward a little more today. Tactically with Andreescu. That's the impressive thing about her run in Auckland. I mentioned this the other day, is in the players she beat there. Very different players. Wozniacki, Venus Williams and Shea. It shows you that she can think through matches against different opponents. Also hit through opponents, which is why she's had so much success this year. It's a deadly combination.
Yeah, and the reason that she can do so well against any type of opponent is because she has so many elements to her game. She plays against somebody who likes rhythm. She can mess that up pretty easily. She can also hit through them, as we saw. throw in some drop shots if somebody's got weaker movement. Really, if you have a weakness, her game can expose it. And what I'm really interested to see is, can she do it at this level?
The other thing that she's got going for her is that she seems to be a big match player so far this year anyway. She's done a good job here.
3 games.
First time she's held serve. Back in this first set now. Elina 3-2 up.
Time. Out. 15 left.
The second point. Svitolina's 1 behind the first serve, 2 from 7 so far. She's been having more success behind her second.
Yeah. 15 on.
This has had a good start to the year on the men's side, as has Svitolina. Love perhaps helping them both out.
Oh, they both did very well here. Well, Svitolina, of course, still going, but Monfils enjoying a good run.
Champion in Rotterdam was Monfils as well. And of course, they've become internet and Instagram sensations.
Yes.
Very heartwarming to watch if you like that sort of thing.
15-30.
Just nice to see people enjoying themselves, isn't it?
Yeah. And both of them do really enjoy playing out on the court. I mean, you see, even though Svitolina gives herself a hard time.
Well, she won't enjoy that.
15-40.
Big bit of luck for the Canadian. Here's a chance to get the second break back.
Yeah, good striking from Andreescu. She's put an awful lot more on it since she went a double break down those first few games. Just pinning Svitolina back a bit.
There's the combination, and Andreescu growing in confidence here. Outplaying the world number 6 for 3 games. And she's back level at 3-all.
3 games over.
Well, a confidence on that drop shot to give it that much height and bite and play a full shot. Somebody like Svitolina, who is a very quick player.
I mean, there's a big reason why Andreescu is confident. Out of the last 8 sets of tennis, only once has he dropped more than 2 games. This would be, I mean, that's a lot, isn't it?
That's great.
feel someone needs to remind Bianca Andreescu she's playing in a Premier Mandatory semi-final in one of the biggest tournaments of the year.
Wow. What big hitting from Andreescu, pulling Svitolina into a difficult position, but then taking the next one early. She knew she wanted to go down the line. Svitolina knew it too. Couldn't get close. So what you're saying is that Svitolina's already doing well by getting 3 games.
Yep.
Not sure that she'll see it that way, but, I like your positivity.
But what a run.
It's
I mean, it's
I'm laughing because it's impressive.
First Premier Mandatory tournament of her career.
Yeah.
And it's just obliterating top-tier opponents. Oh dear. Maybe just got a little too confident on that one.
And that is something that the Andreescu fans will have to ride out, I think, throughout her career. I mean, particularly for the next few years, unless she dramatically changes her game. She will have the tendency to overcomplicate things here and there because she has so many options available.
Oh, brilliant hitting. Another thing, it seems almost impossible to realise where she's going to go with the backhand. Svitolina just hasn't got a read on it at the moment. As Andreescu punches another hole through her opponent. 4 games in a row for the Canadian.
Andreescu leads 4 games to 3.
It's just switched slightly in the last 4 games. She's now the one being aggressive and taking control of the points, okay? First 3 games, you were really dictating. You were the one going line first. You were the one controlling what's happening, okay? Try and get back to that. Be more proactive from the back of the court in the rallies, okay? First opportunity, go up the line. Don't give her the opportunity to go first, all right? She's at the moment just, you're going back to the same side a bit too much and you've dropped back a bit, all right? When you get the short ball, stay down and just go through it. Trust in your shots, okay? It's fine, you're on serve. All right? One thing as well, just keep that first serve percentage up. Don't let her get too many looks, 1, 2, 3 in a row on your second serve, okay? Come on, right in this. Just it's 1 point here and there. Just keep thinking, right, I'm going to be the one dictating the points. You control what happens. Just became a bit passive in the last few games. You take that back straight away, right? Anything you're feeling?
Time.
Come on, big energy. Get the intensity back up. Come on.
Another example of just the creativity on show from Bianca Andreescu. So many weapons.
Well, she was up against a wall in that point, but punching her way through, not phased at all. Some serious scrambling from Svitolina, but just over and over again, delivering.
4 games in a row for Andreescu, so unsurprisingly, Svitolina calling Andrew Bettles onto the court. Just to surmise what he said, first opportunity go line. He was basically saying a lot about Svitolina dictating, being the more the aggressor, getting that first strike in early on, getting lower to the ball as well with regards to committing to lower balls, and getting the first serve percentage up was another thing he said, which was surprising, because when you look at the stats, actually the first serve she's struggling behind, whereas actually the second serve she's doing better on. Again, all these sort of exchanges, though, are going the Canadians' way. What did you make of Andrew Bettel's advice?
Yeah, pretty sensible, really. I mean, he was just explaining what had happened, and that Andreescu has been the one that stepped up and is now taking control. She's putting an awful lot more on her shots. Svitolina's really feeling the effect. So she needs to change that, because otherwise she's going to get hit off the court. And as I said at the beginning, when players are playing like that, some of their best aggressive tennis, they can do that. Svitolina's really struggling to commit to her shots right now. She's spinning off the back of the ball, or dropping short, or like that one, lifting out long.
Look at concern from Bertels and Monfils. Welcome respite to Svitolina. Any points you can pick up right now. Batted from pillar to post in the last 15 minutes or so. Still got a break point to negotiate here. Just didn't quite get her footwork right for that slice backhand, Andreescu. Late to the ball. And this is where Svitolina will like it. If she can turn this into a scrap, then she will probably become the favourite, because we know how much she loves a scrap. Just felt Andreescu a couple of times in the last couple of points hasn't quite got up to the ball as she has been doing for the previous 4 games.
Let's.
This has become a very big game in the context of this opening set.
Advantage, Andreescu.
Oh, where has that come from? Svitolina really getting fired up in this game. Seemed like she'd kind of got back on track and was trying to deal with what was in front of her.
Well, the double fault's really hurting Svitolina in that game, and Andreescu breaks again for a 5th straight game.
Andreescu leads 5 games to 3.
Again, Svitolina backing off, dropping it short to the forehand side of Andreescu, and it's such a heavy shot. She can get good width on the ball with it as well, good whip and rip.
Is there possibly a case here of mental fatigue for Svitolina? She's played by far more hours on a court than anyone else, at the semi-finalists. 9.5 hours Svitolina's played this week. Closest to her is Andreescu, 7 hours 2 minutes. And then she's also playing a player who's got so much creativity and mixing it up so much. That's got to be tiring for her to be working out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, quite possibly. I'd say that Svitolina really enjoys long matches. I think that she's actually in her element when she's in those positions, but that's not to say that it's not exhausting.
And where the bar is.
Exactly, and it definitely can take an effect on her. And again, when we look at the Grand Slam record, again, it's another thing that will just chip away over the course of 2 weeks. This is a long event here in Indian Wells as well. And really, you are in that heightened state all the way through the tournament. So when it's stretched out, that becomes fatiguing as well.
I mean, the only reason I said what I just said is because, you know, the 2 double faults, it's so unlike Svitolina. This game too, 18-year-old serving for the first set here and just giving a couple of cheap points away. 3 set points now for Andreescu. Bianca Andreescu just keeps rolling off. Yet another stunning set of tennis from the 18-year-old.
6 games to 3.
Wins 6 games in a row against the world number 6. And takes the opening set 6-3.
Time. Second set, Svitolina to serve.
That's better discipline from Svitolina.
15 love.
Will be required in this second set. I'll tell you who might be feeling a little better, by the way, right now. Garbine Muguruza. Not sure whether she'll be watching. But at least she'll be thinking, I'm not the only player to lose 6 straight games to this uber-talented 18-year-old.
It's just been phenomenal how she's stepped up. I mean, even just in this match alone, I mean, playing against Svitolina, I mean, she has been a consistent top 5 player. I know her ranking slipped outside, but it did for a time towards the back end of last year, but she's in form. She's had a great start to the year. She finished off last year with such strength. She is one of the best players in the world. There's no doubt about it.
There will be a top 5 player no matter what happens here.
30 all.
With regards to the semi-finals, Svitolina.
And other than Andreescu starting off pretty nervous, after that, she's got a grip of the match and she's just taken her game right to Svitolina, and it has held up brilliantly. I must say I'm surprised that Svitolina hasn't been able to respond as yet. I mean, it looked like she was about to when it was 4-3 when she was serving, but then those couple of double faults and then it just fell away from her.
Yeah, that was a worrying backhand miss. Wasn't there in time. Which, again, little signs of worry if you're a Svitolina fan. And the worry is probably getting bigger and bigger for Svitolina because Andreescu just seems to be getting better and better. Breaks in the first game of the second set for a 7th straight game.
Well, she's showing no signs of stopping. Andreescu, Svitolina has got to think fast. She's got to sort something out because she cannot continue to receive this onslaught because it will be game over quite quickly. 10 winners for Andreescu, only 2 for Svitolina. And we kind of expect it to be that way round, but Svitolina would like to get a few more on the board because if she is up the court and she's inside the baseline, she does hit winners. She can. Just haven't seen her inside the baseline that much.
And let's not forget with those stats, incidentally, the first 3 games we said about the nerves for Andreescu. She hit 1 winner, 9 unforced errors. So they are slightly skewed since then. You know, was it 15 errors? So only 6 unforced errors in 6 games. And a lot of winners. Defense from Svitolina.
Love 30.
I think in this particular match, Svitolina is possibly better off going to the forehand side of Andreescu. I mean, her backhand has just been unstoppable. I mean, it's so powerful. You can't tell where it's going. And the forehand does have a bit more spin on it. And as much as it's heavy, I think Svitolina can cope with that a little better.
Right with the backhand. You see her shape up for it. You just have no idea whether it's line or cross.
Yeah, and
until the very last second.
And I just feel like Svitolina's being beaten on the backhand side pretty comfortably. I can't really see a way through that for Svitolina at all.
It's a bit of an ugly game, but I suppose we can forgive that because the previous 7 have been quite incredible.
1 game on.
And finally, the run comes to an end for the Canadian. And Svitolina breaks back to love. Just shows you what a perfectionist Andreescu is as well. She's not very happy with that game. For Andreescu as well against the world number 6. We talked about how high her level has been in this match, but it's got to be from start to finish. Svitolina will certainly make sure that Andreescu has to win this match.
And we know what a great player Svitolina is when she's behind in the score. Coming back from a set down, I don't think anyone really does it better than Svitolina. She almost relishes it.
Only from 3-1 down in the final set against Barty. Which was 3 points from defeat against Kenin in our opening match. Can't counter out.
13-15. Andreescu trying the ball on the right base. The ball was pulled out.
Just a few unforced errors creeping into the game of the Canadian. Just missed that one by a fraction.
40-15.
Yeah, well, I mean, surely they have to. I mean, you can't keep that going on at this level.
Made it tough, Andreescu. Rare to see Svitolina come to the net like that. Oh, smart. Wonderful angle.
That's a really nice choice off of that wide backhand, and I really like the shot before that where she just skipped up the court. It dropped a little short from Svitolina. Andreescu so quick to get on top of the ball. Does not let you get away with anything.
No. Surprised she went for such a complex shot after what we'd seen in the point. Again, great defense from Svitolina. First time really Svitolina's getting on the front foot there. Missed opportunity for Andreescu. Svitolina now with a bit of momentum. Leads 2-1.
This watch has seen moments that last a second and moments that last forever. It's seen the court's most epic matches, the sport's most storied rivals, and the fierce determination of champions. It is fundamentally black and green sand, the famous who were standing on the edge of history.
Topsy-turvy affair, this one. Svitolina winning the first 3 games of the match. Andreescu winning the next 7. Svitolina winning the last 2.
15 love.
Talked about Svitolina coming from 3-1 down in the third. Same can be said for Andreescu, incidentally, with Begu in her opening match. It's a ridiculous run where she's barely dropped many games in a set. Nice from Svitolina.
15-0.
I mean, her rise up the rankings has been astonishing. Hadn't qualified for a WTA event last year. Lost in all of the qualifying for Grand Slam. Okay, she was only 17 years of age, but for much of the year. But just sensational what has happened in such a short space of time. Just swang at it slightly.
15-13.
Overly comfortable on that final volley.
I love the forehand switch up the line with a bit of shape and spin. It's so effective because it really pushes the opponents backwards as well. And just maybe a little heavy-handed on the volley.
Another thing for Andreescu is that she's doubled her career prize money by reaching the semi-final here. Now, Naomi, you're someone who knows, you know, when you played Wimbledon as a player, that was big for you money-wise. How much did that actually affect you? How much were you aware of what you were doing money-wise?
I suppose you're definitely aware of it.
Again, getting the volley wrong, Andreescu.
13.
Svitolina steals the point.
I mean, Andreescu spent some time on the Challenger circuit, spent plenty of time there. You're not picking up a huge amount of money. And you have to be aware of the money because you've got to sort out your expenses at the same time. I'm sure well, I know she's had plenty of help from Tennis Canada as well, but you've still got to make it all work out. But yeah, this is a very different story. Maybe when she sees it arrive in the bank, it'll sink in.
That's what I was wondering. Isn't it? Is it afterwards? Because we talk about the different pressures on a young player playing in a big event. But it's something that you don't often mention. But, I mean, it's life-changing sums. Or at least, this has been a life-changing run for her.
I think also you're always pushing for more when you're a player, and I know that to be true of almost every player out there. As soon as they achieve one thing, it's what's the next thing, and you never know when you're going to peak. And when people look back on their careers, I think very rarely do they look at the... Oh, she got it right. I think very rarely do they look at the best moment in their career or their biggest achievement and say that they knew that was their biggest achievement at the time. I mean, unless it is winning a slam, which they maybe weren't expecting. Most players will say, right, what's coming next? And
starting to miss a little more.
Advantage,
She's also been affected by those two missed volleys in this game.
For me, the biggest difference is the energy from Andreescu. I mean, she had a huge surge of adrenaline, and I think we're looking at a bit of an adrenaline dump here. You can see between the points, she's just looking a bit deflated. The score is still looking pretty good.
Elina's level, though, still not what we're used to seeing from her. There's still more unforced errors from the Ukrainian than what we are used to seeing. It's a 6th in this set already.
Yeah, and 2 of the errors in this game really have been kind of basic rallying balls, just like that one, both on the backhand side. And both because she wasn't in the right position, which again is never normally the reason Svitolina misses.
Yeah, that's why I question the fatigue and match time she has had. That's an extraordinary point. And Svitolina didn't look tired there.
Sensational scrapping from Andreescu. I mean, you've got to feel for Svitolina. She just doesn't have the firepower to get that ball away when she was right up at the front third of the court. But, boy, what a point. That could be a real changer in this match. Big change of energy. Andreescu giving everything she had.
This next point, huge. So often you see a point like that one following an epic one. And that is the sort of battle that Svitolina just laps up. Talking about a maybe fatigued mentally and physically, but in terms of her character, that is unquestionable.
It's extraordinary. It's the biggest thing I admire when watching Svitolina. And there's a big concern for Andreescu, which is that Svitolina is, as you mentioned, is still not playing her best tennis, or that close to it, to be honest.
Oh, she's just missed it. Terrific defense, though, from Andreescu.
And this is what we mean when we say about Andreescu, and that she's got it all. I mean, being pushed onto the back foot, no problem. Plays really well under pressure.
Well, Andreescu toying with the world number 6. Some of the crowd not hearing that the call came there.
Love 13.
Not aware that the umpire as well had heard the call. It's also going to be a test for Andreescu fitness-wise as well. We keep talking about Svitolina, as I say, but she's played for over 7 hours here, and it's been the intensity as well this year. No let-up because she's just been winning so much. So will that come to bear at some point?
15-13.
That will be tested in Svitolina has been tested. Oh, it's great tennis. So quick to get up the court.
Andreescu getting the energy flowing again. You can see it again, the walk between the points. It's just got a little more purpose. It's a little quicker, a bit more rip on the ball. I think for me, the thing that I'm most excited about with Andreescu is that versatility. In her game, she has a weapon that works so well on every surface. She's got the heavy forehand for the clay. She's got the drop shots and other elements to her game for the grass. She's got that slice as well, which is going to work really nicely on the grass court, and then from the back of the court she can inject the pace, which is perfect for the hard courts. And again, she has weapons that can hurt every game style. So I don't think any opponent will be walking on to a match against her and feeling like this is a good matchup for them, and that actually they can really neutralize all of her weapons, because she kind of has all the bases covered.
Smart. Svitolina on a roll herself now. It's a fourth game in a row. She's had to dig deep. She's got a grip of this second set. 4-1.
Svitolina leads 4 games to 1.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You're like, just make sure like you work your point and wait until you get your opportunity nicely. You're releasing your shot nicely. You're working out. She's defending well, so she's making you earn it. She's getting a lot of balls back, but then just get inside your court, pick your target early, not too close to lines, and go for it. You're doing amazing. Okay, you just need to be ready mentally. The mindset is to be ready for the challenge. Rise up to the challenge. Ready to work, ready to go and work the point and get your opportunities. You came in.
I need to take my chances.
That's okay. That happens. That's okay. That's okay. There's a lot of times you took your chances also, so it's fine. And when you have her like a little bit on the stretch and wide, and you came in a couple of times and you take it in the air, that's awesome. Just.
What was I doing so well in the first half?
Or you're doing the same thing. You're releasing your shot. Like she's getting a couple more balls back, but that's fine. Like you're doing great. Like your forehand, you want to use your forehand to her backhand, which you're doing. And the backhand cross court, you're doing great too. Your slice.
Am I slicing too much?
A little bit. Like make sure when she moves you, like you're getting there. Like you're getting there. Like you know how good you are with your footwork and physical. So get behind the shots. Like especially on the forehand side. Not too many like of those slice forehands. Okay? But it's the mindset, the attitude. That's what matters. Okay? Every point. Come on, let's go.
Well, always really interesting. We haven't actually heard or seen too much of Sylvain Bruno, because he hasn't needed to come onto the court really this week. But, well, I was sitting there nodding my head. I'm not sure about you, Naomi, but we will just go over what he did say in just a moment's time. A lot of it, he was saying about being ready for the challenge. It was a sort of a psyche she needed to get into with being aggressive, getting inside the court, which was what she was doing very well first set. And she was quite negative, wasn't she, with regards to how she was responding, saying, oh, what's happened here in this second set? And he was quite reassuring, saying, look, you're doing all the right things. It's just the execution on the final ball. He also, I liked Also, like what he did do is, the volleys that she missed, he credited them, knowing that that was the right play in terms of getting up the court. And I was slightly fearing as well she was going to move away from the net, was going to stop doing that because she'd missed a couple. Those were my thoughts on it. What were your thoughts with what he had to say?
It was really positive, but nicely balanced as well. I think good combination of reassurance, which she definitely needed. She was feeling, it seemed like she was a little bit stressed out with the situation. I mean, she's playing an entirely different opponent to what she was in the first set. I mentioned the tactics they talked about before the match started, in terms of trying to go to the forehand to open up the backhand. That really has been the target, and I think Andreescu's backing herself in the backhand cross court, and it has been brilliant for her.
The reason I think I liked it so much is because I watched so many Svitolina matches where this sort of thing happens, where a player's level drops a fraction when they're doing the right thing, but against Svitolina she's getting more balls back in play, they get frustrated, and then they change what does work for them. They overreact.
Yeah.
And I think he was very good just to say, no, you're still doing the right thing. There's no need to overreact, because even though she's 4-1 down here, lost the last 4 games, I think she had game points in 3 of those.
Yeah. Oh no, it's been much tighter than the score, that's for sure. And when it comes to Svitolina, I mean, if you have an informed Svitolina, or now Svitolina's playing much better than she did in the first set, so much of it is a mental game.
Incredible foot speed from Andreescu to react like that. That shows a lot of gym work. The first step push-off, just sensational.
Yeah, she did so well to guide that one down the line and not overplay it. She had so much momentum coming through the back of the ball. It is so easy to push that one long. The lob from Svitolina not getting it done.
It's a good game. And important for Andreescu with regards to her confidence and belief.
Svitolina leads.
A lot of Canadian fans here. They've had a good tournament. Of course, Milos Raonic still in the men's event. Canadian tennis looking pretty good with regards to men's tennis too, because talented youngster and Denis Shapovalov coming through. Of course, got Bouchard still in the women's as well. One of the strongest tennis nations out there right now.
So loose on that return. It's such a compact swing. So much of the swing happens after she hits the shot.
It's a great readjustment from Svitolina off the net cord.
30-15.
It's always really difficult for her when she is in those sorts of situations, because she just does struggle to just fire that ball away. She's only lacking about 10 or 20% of pace, and it would just get these points done so much quicker. I know it's something she's working on.
That's going to be my next question to you. Can you develop that sort of pace and power at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, she can produce it. She just doesn't do it regularly. It's about the technique.
So it is possible at this stage of your career, 24 years of age, to change the technique to get more power?
No, well, she can do the technique.
Okay.
We've seen it in this match already. When she got frustrated the back end of that first set, I mean, she absolutely annihilated a couple of forehands, which were pretty much as big as what we see from Andreescu. She can do it, but it's about what she's doing with that hip behind the ball. But it is just not her comfort zone at all. It's not how she knows. It's not what she knows on the tennis court. It's not what's got her to this point. But it's about pushing forwards to that next step for her.
A lovely 1-2 punch. And it's finished off with a volley. Excellent game from the Ukrainian. The game away from going the distance yet again. 5-2.
Svitolina leads 5 games to 2. Time.
This has been a typical Elina Svitolina set, hasn't it? Just digs in, finds a way. And suddenly it's Andreescu serving to stay in the set. 2-5.
Love. 15-0.
This is where we said about Andreescu. Could she keep the level up? The top 5 level that she was playing at in the first set. The honest answer is she hasn't really been able to. It's not a criticism. It's not a criticism because she's playing the world number 6 and she's 18 years of age, so we're not expecting her to be able to do that.
Yeah, she's doing all right, isn't she?
Yeah.
I think the issue with what happened in the first set is because she was really riding that wave of adrenaline, and adrenaline only lasts so long. And then she did have that big adrenaline dump at the beginning of the second set. You could just see it just kind of all came out of her. A bit of relief after winning that set as well.
That with the combination that Svitolina is playing so much better right now. Just weaving her web in that point.
And getting stronger and stronger as this match is progressing. She's really got a good grip on it now. Andreescu struggling to find answers.
Just left herself a little exposed with the line ball there, Svitolina. Good work from Andreescu.
I think the best news, though, for Andreescu is that, I mean, if we're looking more long-term, the fact that she was riding off of that adrenaline, that's because she's never done this before. She's never played. I even think to this day she hasn't produced that level of tennis that we saw for those 6 games in the first set against an opponent like Svitolina. It was extraordinary. But the next time she does it, it won't be so much of an adrenaline kick because she's done it before. And the more time she does it, and then it becomes normal. So she won't have that big drop-off. And it'll become an awful lot more sustainable for her.
Thought about the challenge, but opts against it. It will be another set point for the Ukrainian. Well, with Elina Svitolina, you expect nothing less. Yet again, on the comeback trail is the Ukrainian.
Svitolina
takes the second set by 6 games to 2.
1 set all. Code violation, ball abuse, warning, Andreescu. Game in second set, Svitolina. Time. Final set, Svitolina to serve.
Talking about the adrenaline dump from Andreescu in the second set. Can she get that adrenaline going again in the third? That's the big question, really.
Correction.
In this third set. Correction from the chair.
30 love.
So it's going to be 30 love. Andreescu has the option to challenge, but not taking that option.
Just a reminder to Svitolina of the weapons that Andreescu possesses and what was going on in that first set. Svitolina barely having a play on the ball for 6 games.
What would you do after this tournament if you're Andreescu's coach in terms of how many more tournaments does she play this year? Because is only 18 years of age. She's played a lot of tennis already. I mean, is there a worry of overplay?
Absolutely. It's probably the biggest concern.
It's a quality point.
Nicely finished as well, with a bit of style. It's so easy to overplay when you're playing well. It's the most dangerous time. And actually, you just want to take a bit of time to rest, just bank the improvements that you've made. And you need rest to be able to do that. It's so easy to try and ride the momentum and say, okay, well, let's just keep playing. You're winning, so let's just keep going, keep going. But it comes to an end. It comes to an abrupt end.
And we'll rise to about 37 in the world, rankings-wise. And of course, I'm sure she'll be wanting to try and get that ranking up higher, so she's a seeded for the French. But won't have too many points to defend, which is what she achieved last year. So that's why I asked that question. It's, you know, she's got to play a bit, I would imagine, but.
Well, I think that, something like that, it's a very obvious target to go for. But I think it's one that she should probably ignore.
A bit of a muddle there. And of course, if she wins this match, then you can almost fully ignore it. Gets to the final, we go to world number 33. Wins the title 24. And we're going to have another twist in the tail of this fascinating semi. It's a super point and a brilliant game from Andreescu. All the momentum with Svitolina going into it. And is the Canadian going to get her adrenaline going once again?
First game.
Leads 1-0.
Well, the second set was maybe a little less frantic than the first, because it was just all Andreescu going absolutely nuts and Svitolina barely getting a play on it. But in the set 2, very tidy from Svitolina. Only the 9 unforced errors to the 18 of Andreescu. She really tidied things up. She had a little bit more heat on the ball as well. It's still not that aggressive from Svitolina. I think we've seen her more aggressive through this tournament, but it feels like she's moving in that direction.
Brilliant pickup. It's always interesting watching the coaches' exchanges. Svitolina doesn't look like she ever looks at Andrew Bettles when he comes on. And you wonder whether she's listening. But again, we see there that she basically did what he said. Was more aggressive, went up the line earlier, and raised the first serve percentage to 68% in that second set.
Yeah, she may not respond to him when they're talking, but she definitely responds to what he asks her to do, I think, quite consistently.
Nearly stole it, Andreescu.
15.
Counter-punching though from Svitolina.
A little bit of extra aggression on the forehand down the line. Svitolina needs to push herself outside of her comfort zones.
Oh, it's a ripper.
30-15.
Svitolina just couldn't find the penetration there. She wasn't driving the hip all the way through. And Andreescu was able to capitalize.
Another one. This time off the backhand. She's turned it up again. No doubt about that.
Svitolina's backed off as well. This is not too many balls that have fallen short.
Backs up the break.
Game Andreescu.
Just a nod of approval
Andreescu
by
leads.
Coach Silva.
2 games to love.
It's almost like she just needed a bit of time to adjust to the way this match had turned around and the very different opponent that she was facing.
Also kind of think there was frustration that she'd lost in her grasp of the match after winning 7 straight games, and I think it's taken a little while to get that frustration away, and now just playing with a bit more freedom. So she's decided to live by the sword, die by the sword, just going for it, and it's working right now for the 18-year-old.
Beautiful combination. Svitolina doing pretty well there on the full slide, but she's exposing the movement of Svitolina, which is not something you see happen often.
Oh, nearly. But again, it's Andreescu's the one inside the baseline.
Yeah, we haven't seen Svitolina up inside the baseline much in this set. And even through the second set, it wasn't as much as we'd seen in other matches. It definitely has dropped off.
The mind reader that is Elina Svitolina gets the right way time and time again, and then finishes it all off with a clever shot like that.
Oh, counter-punching at its best. Phenomenal work from Elina Svitolina. So clever on that last volley. That's a tricky volley to play there. She needs something to get her going again. Maybe that was it.
There's the pace from Svitolina. And the Ukrainian ups it. And how big a point will the one be where she was able to defend and then finish with the volley? Gets herself on the board in the third set. Wow. It was a good job Svitolina got out of the way of that one. Otherwise, we might have had two Svitolinas on the court.
Well, that's how you put it away. With a bit of oomph on the final blow from Andreescu. She's going to have to keep going again, though. Svitolina is such a stingy player, such a frustrating player.
I think that point is exactly that point you were making.
Correction.
With three huge shots from her to get past Svitolina. Correction here from Mariette Alves, and judging by the reaction from Andreescu, I think she thinks she's missed this one. Svitolina challenged straight away. And there we go.
Call status. 30. Svitolina has 2 challenges remaining.
Well, 15-all is the score. Not having her best couple of minutes, Mariana Alves.
15. Svitolina has 3 challenges remaining.
There's more on those shots from Svitolina, but she did have a couple of opportunities just to shuffle the feet up inside the baseline. She's just reluctant to do it in this match. I'm not sure if she's concerned about the strike from Andreescu, or whether she's just not feeling entirely confident in herself. We know it's not her natural game style, but it is something she's been working on and has been doing to a high level.
We also know that she's such a great match player, this Svitolina. You just think she's still playing the situation fraction, saying, okay, I'm against an 18-year-old here who couldn't keep the level up. And so maybe just thinking that Andreescu isn't going to be able to hit through her relentlessly in this third set.
30-14.
Trouble with the shoelace. Out of rhythm on that last point. Generally, both players have been pretty good on the break points. Here's another one for the Ukrainian. And that was a big point. And seeing that reaction from Andreescu. Can really get herself fired up. It's generally been pretty contained today from the 18-year-old. Knows this is a crucial stage of the match. Oh, that is huge. Leaning in and crunching it.
Just demolishing the last backhand, but yet again, Svitolina, I mean, she had the short ball and she stayed so far back, she had to reach to pick it up and only could just about muster up rolling it onto the service line. Points turn around and it's done.
The reason I say I feel it's such an important stage of the match, I know all games are important from here on in, but just get the feeling from a couple of things I've seen from Andreescu that she's maybe feeling it physically. And if that is the case, if she can just keep herself ahead with that two-game cushion, that finishing line draws a little bit closer, and then I think that will inspire her to keep putting in that extra bit that her coach was talking about in terms of attitude and in between the points even.
Oh, big opportunity there for Svitolina. She'd picked it. There was a good-sized gap. Yeah, I agree with you. I think she's a little more vulnerable over the next few games than she would be towards the end of the set.
Almost right on cue there, isn't it? Body wear and tear perhaps taking its toll. Again, it's a little too short from Svitolina, and Andreescu takes advantage. She may be feeling it, but she re-establishes the two-game cushion in this third set. Needing water too. Just feel if Svitolina had broken there, the Ukrainian would have been big favourite for me.
Well, she had her opportunities. Really, she could have. When she had her coach Andrew Bettles on, he said, you know, you've got to try and take charge of this match, and she's just really struggling to do that. I mean, she is driving through her shots better, but she's just not getting up the court to then capitalise on it.
Thing is, I think Svitolina, though, has recognised that Andreescu's struggling here and is just thinking, come on, hit through me, keep trying to hit through me, and it doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks.
Yeah, which it's got to be a sensible play. I mean, when you look at the facts, 18 years old, first time out here.
Again, I mean, all the points here from Andreescu. She's just trying to shortcut the point, wanting water as well before the sit down.
It is always a physical battle against Svitolina. She'll love nothing more than seeing her opponents tired.
That's a fine winner from the Ukrainian.
Svitolina
Wanted to speak to Andrew Bettles again. Andreescu winning 3-2 at the moment.
as well as Andreescu.
Good stuff. That's better. That's better.
Andreescu leads 3
You have
games
to
to
take it to her now. You have to be aggressive. You have to go for your shots. Okay? She's dying physically. She's really struggling. So don't just accept for her to just stand and hit. Okay? Take it to her. Look, especially on the forehand side, you're slowing down the racket a bit. Stay down and through it and really rip. Let it go. Okay? This is the time when you full energy, really aggressive with the feet and the hand. Okay? When she's going the loop, come in, take it early. Okay? Too often she's going loop and then she gets to move in, you're going back and not really doing too much. Anytime it's a slightly bit short, lean on it. You've got a great early backhand like that. Okay? But put the pressure on her. I want you dictating points. All right? This is the moment. This is the moment to get her, okay? Sorry?
And you're moving good. You're staying with the ball. You're staying into the rallies. And remember how strong you are in those tough battles, those tough rallies. You're excellent. You're able to hang in there, like work, and then when you get the shot, you go for it. You got that? Okay. And you keep your mindset, you keep your attitude, your energy is super good. Like you keep that positive mindset every time. Come on. Okay? Non-stop. Relentless.
Again, it was an interesting exchange, wasn't it? It's kind of what we were saying and what we have been saying. Svitolina's coach, Andrew Bettles, saying get up the court and be aggressive, make sure you sort of finish her off. She's the one who's struggling out there. And then I think a bit of psychology from Sylvain Bruno saying, I want to see that energy. You're great. You're powerful. You've got the aggression. Saying all these positive words to try and make sure her mindset almost overrides her body. I think that's what he was probably trying to do there. Fake it until you make it and all that.
Well, you just have to have energy against Svitolina because it's just such a physical task ahead of Andreescu. Even now, these last games are going to be some of the toughest she's ever played. So whether she feels like she has energy or not, it doesn't matter. The requirements remain the same.
And it's energy in different ways, isn't it? It's not just side-to-side movement energy. It's energy to punch holes.
Yeah.
To load and hit big.
Well, being powerful is a lot more draining than running. And you see actually a lot of players, when they get tired, revert to just running from side to side because you do actually use a lot less energy.
So many boxing analogies with this sport. And that is one of them, punching yourself out. Just little signs from Andreescu with regards to how she's hitting the ball. Short-cutting, taking slightly bigger strides. Not quite as in the best position that she was getting into, particularly in the first set. And this is going to be tough. 7 points in a row now for the Ukrainian. missing. I suppose from the coach's point of view, Sylvain Bruno. This is where, in future reference, he can sort of say when she's in the gym, just a little bit harder. Remember that match against Svitolina.
When Andrew Bettles came onto court for his coaching chat with Svitolina, I think he told her gave her probably the best news that you could get if you're Elina Svitolina. And he told her she's dying physically. That is exactly what Svitolina wants to see. It's what she's helped create as well. She's been a big part of that. But for someone like Svitolina, I mean, surely that gives her the biggest boost of all. I mean, she knows she can bank on her fitness and her running abilities.
Svitolina breaks, and it's 3-all. And even though the scoreline is even, you feel the match now heavily tilted towards the world number 6. And that is why contrasting feelings out there right now. Andreescu finds something from somewhere, though, some bit of inspiration. That really is the question. You kind of know what you're going to get from Svitolina from here on in, almost.
And Svitolina's just got to keep reminding herself that there's a reason that she is ranked as highly as she is. There's a reason why she has been the most consistent player and won all of the titles, all of the big events as well.
Andreescu's still a danger, of course, with the weapons she has. Again, that's the footwork, just a fraction off.
Just pulled that one. Had a little more time than I think she was expecting. Maybe could have taken an extra step.
Just how she's moving the shoulders there, Svitolina. Maybe she's getting a little tight here, nervous, knowing that she's got her opponent on the ropes. It's just a question of finishing her off. Let's not forget, this is arguably the biggest tournament outside the WTA finals in the 4 majors. The final of it, there's going to be nerves. It was a very shaky second serve, and it gets the full treatment from Andreescu. With a bit of help from Svitolina, Andreescu breaks. and leads 4-3.
Andreescu leads 4 games to 3. Time.
We've had so many dramatic matches in this wonderful event. We've got another one here. A little twist. Andreescu up a break now, 4-3.
Well, maybe Andreescu can use that last game just to give her that last boost of energy. She's got to get every drop out of herself now.
This has got more crowd support too. Try and feed off that as well.
Oh, that's an interesting miss from Andreescu, an unexpected one. It's a short ball from Svitolina. I mean, really dangerous.
Break back points. Smart tactic from Andreescu. Playing in the angle. Svitolina. Really is all-out attack for Andreescu. It's the only way. 30-40. What she's got left in the tank.
Yeah, if she can get that strike in early and she gets a point like that, and then it's just a matter of finishing off.
We're finding some big first serves here. Another break point to save, though. Certainly got the first strike in on that occasion as well. and back from love 40 down.
Just too much for Svitolina, too much for anyone, really. So much juice behind those shots.
It's been a thriller. It's been very, very even. I think this is what Andrew Bedels was warning against with Svitolina in terms of going into that defensive mindset. She has just got a little tight. And the Canadian fans enjoying what they're seeing. What a mammoth hold that is from love 40 down. Where has the energy come from?
New balls, please.
Superb hitting, just stepping up the court, no nonsense about it. Svitolina's backed way off again, far too defensive, and Andreescu really taking advantage.
A game away from the final. Serving to stay in the match, Svitolina, 3-5.
$15.
Beautiful tennis once again.
15.
And I suppose, Naomi, when you are running on empty, at least that might take away the nerves.
Yeah, I mean, you're just trying to get from one point to the next, really. I mean, Andreescu just doing a fine job and still having the clarity of thought there.
Wasn't far away either with that forehand. Just snuck over the net. For once, Svitolina getting up the court.
I'm not sure what she was going for there. Very un-Svitolina-like. She hasn't played the most aggressive match, and then to go for quite an ambitious shot off that one. Pretty big point as well.
I remember saying it 3-all. We knew what we were going to get from Svitolina from here on in, but that hasn't been the case. 10th unforced error. Glorious. Only got one way of playing right now, but it's working. And Andreescu has somehow found a way to match point. no.
Deuce.
She can't believe it. Furious with herself.
Is that her one big chance gone?
You can guarantee that Svitolina is going nowhere.
Advantage, Svitolina.
What an opportunity. The second serve of Svitolina has looked vulnerable. Sometimes dropping short. That one on the backhand side for Andreescu. She couldn't really have asked for much more.
Again, I'm sure she'll be wondering where was that backhand a couple of points ago. Total conviction, though, from the Canadian.
Well, there's the high ball that Andrew Bettles was talking about to Svitolina. She keeps getting pushed backwards, and needs to try and take it on the rise a little more. But she doesn't want to get up the court at all in this match, so that's quite a tough ask.
Advantage, Svitolina.
Svitolina has been walking a tightrope the whole tournament. 3 points from going out in the opening round match. She was a breakdown in the third against Barty. Easy could have lost the first set there as well. She's walking a tightrope again, Svitolina, but she's somehow still upright by the skin of her teeth. Saves a match point,
Andreescu leads
comes through the game,
5 games to 4.
and will at least ask the question of Andreescu. 5-4. She's already had a match point. The sit down, Andreescu was just rubbing her calf muscle, trying to avoid cramp. Serving for the match, though. Not that they'll be watching, but I'm sure Bencic and Kerber will probably be wanting Andreescu to win this match because it's taken so much out of her.
Again, such an unexpected decision from Svitolina, given the way this match has gone.
I just feel she's gone so defensive over the last few games that she's trying to will herself to be aggressive at certain times, and it's getting a little muddled with when to be. You can understand it, you know, against an opponent who has been struggling really for the last 25 minutes, half an hour. Nope.
Just pulled the head up on that forehand, didn't stay through the commitment. And a couple of the wilder unforced errors have come in for Andreescu through this third set.
Gets the pass, and it's Svitolina who steals the point. You just wonder whether Andreescu could have gone forward on the 2 previous balls rather than the final one.
Well, she is relentless, Svitolina. So physical from the back of the court.
What a shot that is. Talk about the lactic acid in the system. No sign of it there. Snapping around the side of the ball to generate the angle. So good.
Oh, what a smart choice there. The forehand angle on. Svitolina too far back. Andreescu knew it, and she just could not chase that one down. She was really reaching for it in the end.
Digging so deep. Two hours and 6 minutes of absorbing tennis. Will it end here? Match point number 2. Made it. I mean, what else are we going to see in this encounter?
Oh, wow. What a point. I mean, Andreescu is pretty much empty.
And Svitolina still stays alive. Is it meant to be?
and showing a bit of aggression on that point.
Andreescu has 2 challenges remaining.
So Andreescu's missed by a fraction on 1 match point. Svitolina's made by a fraction on 1 match point. Again, the character shown by this 18-year-old to lose a point like she did on the previous one, settle herself down, and then hit a serve like that. Match point number 3.
Oh, very ambitious on the last shot. Got it all wrong. If that had gone over, she was going to miss possibly even the tram lines. Can only imagine the amount of nerves that she's feeling right now.
And the problem for her is that I just don't think she can last a long rally. And so that's what leads to shots like that. No, didn't get up to the ball at all.
There must be so much lactic acid in those legs. She has been loading and exploding throughout this match. It is the most tiring, the most fatiguing. She's had to do it over and over against Svitolina. She's desperately trying to claw her way over the line. Svitolina is the last player you want to see at the other end of the court when you feel like this.
Especially if you miss first serves. 3rd break point. Can you believe the coolness from Andreescu?
Well, she saw it. She's still switched on. The brain is functioning brilliantly. Very sharp to see Svitolina so far back in the court again. She was almost running backwards, retreating so quickly.
Still got there.
She really is quick, can cover some ground.
Oh, she's done it again. And that one's even better.
Advantage, Andreescu.
It was a shaky return from Svitolina. You know what they say, Naomi? 4th time's a charm. Just incredible. It's another extraordinary win for Bianca Andreescu. The 18-year-old just produces sensational tennis, digs incredibly deep, running on empty, able to find a way to get over the line for the biggest win of her career. Defeats Elina Svitolina 6-3, 2-6, 6-4 in 2 hours and 12 minutes.
It was just utterly brilliant from Bianca Andreescu. I mean, what can you say? It was an up and down match. It was all over the place, really. We had so much adrenaline, so much emotion, some just sensational tennis, particularly from Andreescu. Svitolina nearly pulled it off again, and the comeback, we see it from her time and time again. But Andreescu showing resilience to add to all of the attributes that we listed at the beginning of the match. We can tick off another one. Resilience, and resilience at a top 5 level. Superb.
I mean, I was struggling for words at the end of that match point, because exactly what you say. I mean, there's too much to say about that performance from Bianca Andreescu. The character, I mean, I'm not quite sure how she did it in the end, but she's into the final here at the BNP Paribas Open.
Bianca Andreescu, I didn't want to interrupt you. You were having such a moment sitting there, letting it all soak in, but this is the biggest day of your 18 years, and we were all a part of it. What is going on in your head right now?
Yeah, I really needed a moment to soak this all in. This is just so incredible. This past week, it's been a dream come true, playing in front of amazing crowds like you guys.